feel like I'm sitting down for an interview. I'm about to interview some people. Resumes, please. 3 references. Let me go get my decaf. We're trying for children. I've never had an interview start out like that. I don't know why I said that. So guys, welcome back to my channel. I have notes for this video, so it shall be organized. Yes, it's on the Holiday Inn hotel paper because I am in my living room. Just kidding. It feels like that sometimes. I've been traveling a lot lately.
I've been traveling a lot, lady. You don't even know.
Around for my work trainings. So it's nice to not have to study as soon as I check in. I apologize if you hear the air conditioner the entire video. I came in here, it was 76 degrees in freaking June in the South. So that air conditioning is gonna be on for a while. So the purpose of this video is to explain my opinion on why I decided to take FAR last. I get that question all the time. And I know it seems easy for me to explain it because it did work out for me, but even if I had failed that last FAR take, which I 100% expected to fail it, if you guys missed out on that, I completely winged FAR. I was only 7 units in out of 10 with Becker, and I miraculously passed. And I can't explain that at all. I can't really tell you guys what I did to study FAR because I 100% was certain that I was gonna fail it. So that was just literally a miracle from God that I passed. But anyways, I'm still not over it. I passed exactly a week ago from today. So I'm still like in this high, like, is this real life? It's just my first CPA video as a CPA.
I'm not actually licensed yet. I gotta do that ethics exam crap.
But I'm getting there. So one of the reasons I decided to take FAR last was the whole CPA in general is not necessarily required for my job. I do work in government. I'm a state employee, a state auditor, and CPA definitely helps us. We do get a raise. Study materials are partially compensated, and I do have more ability to in-charge more audits. In-charge is the same thing as like a senior auditor in public accounting. We're called in-charges because we're
In charge!
But I'm not in charge. But my in-charge is in charge. So since I didn't need the CPA, and since FAR is essentially the hardest exam, everyone considers it the hardest, most difficult exam, I knew, especially being a bad test taker, taking it first would be very discouraging. I would completely expect myself to have failed it 1, 2, 3, 10 times before I'd pass it. And I just feel like I'd be discouraged and end up just kind of tossing the CPA idea out the window. And that necessarily wouldn't be a bad thing because I wouldn't 100% need it for my position. The reason I got my whole CPA was just to open up doors for opportunity down the road, because who knows, maybe I don't want to be a state auditor in 15 years or tomorrow. I don't know. I love my job now. I may not tomorrow. I may wake up as another person. They call me Heather.
I get called Heather way too often. I may leave.
I love my job. If you do need the CPA license for your career path, if you are going into public accounting or you plan to pursue public accounting, I would definitely recommend, sure, take FAR first. It's the biggest exam. It only makes sense to take it first, get it out of the way, and then it's kind of downhill from there. Although I will say there are very differing opinions on the difficulty of the different exams, because I, for one, would for sure say audit's the hardest. We'll get into that later. I am a horrible test taker. It is very obvious of that fact. I have severe test anxiety. It is very bad. In fact, I got diagnosed with IBS during the CPA exam studying process because of the stress that it put on my body and my digestive system.
It's a struggle.
I get way too worked up over it. And FAR has lots of the other exams built into it. So like Reg, obviously the tax portion of the exam, tax and law, the FAR exam has income taxes on it. You're gonna need to know some of the percentages of the income taxes and some of the deductions, the exemptions, along with BEC, with the financial portions, with the CAP-M that you have to calculate for whatever that's for, the finance stuff, the dividends, the stock, the return on risk, the different kinds of risk. All of that BEC stuff is on the FAR exam as well. And with audit, obviously the financial statements are big for the audit exam because you're auditing financial statements. The FAR exam, the accounting's built on financial statements, so that's a big portion of FAR, as well as the inventory methods, the different FIFO, LIFO, weighted average, and then you've got like dollar value FIFO, LIFO. I had never heard of that until the CPA exam, but it's one of the things being tested. All of that is on the audit exam as well. All the different ratios in accounting is on the audit exam, and that I was so thankful that I took audit first, because there's like 30 different ratios, and you kind of know them by heart, sort of, if you're finance accounting minded, but you don't know all of them. And several of them were tested on my exams, like literally all 4, maybe not Reg, maybe just BEC, FAR, and audit. I had those ratios tested. But anyways, so I took audit first and I had them like in my brain for good. So I got to kind of like fly through that with FAR and BEC. I just like projectile spit all over you guys.
Did you feel it?
freaking my hotel person just texted me. Hey, Heaven, just checking in on everything. How's it going? On a scale from 1 to 5, number only, 5 best. How was your arrival experience? I should put like a 2 and say it's hot as crap in here. But then they may move me to another room and I'm already settled in. Can't you tell? I brought my pet goose. Another key reason I took FAR last or decided to take FAR last was just the practice of taking the CPA exam. If you have not taken one yet, I don't want to like stress you out or get you all worked up or anything, but it is a big exam. It's 4 hours long, it's extremely standardized. You're not allowed to leave no matter what happens. A bomb could go off in the building. You can't leave because you're gonna void your exam. Well, let's hope that doesn't happen. I don't know if it has or not. Literally, we had a power outage in one of my audit exams and I had to sit there for over 30 minutes. I was not allowed to go to the bathroom. I wasn't allowed to get a snack or anything. I had to sit there while there was no power because you're not allowed to get up and void your exam. Anyways, I just went on a tangent. Each exam that you take, any of the sections, you kind of get more confident with the testing center. I went to 2 different testing centers because I first lived in Nashville for the first 3 exams that I took. 3-ish, and then Knoxville for 3 or 4-ish of the last exams. By the time I took that last FAR one, I was like, I own this place. I'm here more than the employees. Like, Melissa, why are you late? It ain't on your timesheet. So yeah, just the experience with the exams. I needed every possible oomph to get me to pass FAR. So all of this being, all the practice, all the little kinks and curves and weird things, getting the practice through the exams was key for me. And so I'm very thankful I took FAR last for that reason. Now, my whole video was talking about FAR, but whichever one you think is gonna be the hardest for you, just put that instead of FAR. That being said, FAR is a very straightforward exam, and it's got a ton of content. I don't have my textbooks with me because why would I bring those to my hotel room for no reason? But FAR is like this big, whereas Reg's like this big, Audit and BC are like this big. You guys see what I'm talking about? The FAR has a ton of material, which is what is so overwhelming and so intimidating for everybody because it's just so much content. Sorry, the Hallmark channel is on. And
Love Hallmark.
what I mean about it being straightforward is there are no trick questions. Every question on there, at least for me, I was able to read the question and know what it's asking me. I cannot say that about BEC especially and audit. Audit, you're like, I could argue any of these answers. FAR, there is 1 right answer for every question on the exam. Audit, there's 2 right answers for all these questions. You have to choose the best answer. It kind of goes for an argument of why you should take FAR first because it's like more straightforward. But I don't know. I'm just mentioning it's a very straightforward exam. Another thing that was key for me was the fact that the CPA exams was foreign to me. I didn't really have anything to go off of. I didn't really know anyone that had done it before me besides my friend Laura. No one in my family is a CPA. I had never even heard of a CPA until my sophomore year of college. Some of y'all are in high school talking about you're ready to take a CPA exam. I'm like,
What?
how do y'all even know what you're talking about? But learning how to study and what works for you, that is key because your study materials are catered to like the general CPA candidate, whereas things may work for you, things may not work for you. For instance, I didn't look at a single flashcard the entire CPA exams. I never looked at a flashcard from K through 12 or college. I have never seen a flashcard. What's a flashcard? 2, taking notes, separate notes like in a spiral notebook, I did not do. I did attempt to do that with FAR for the very first 2 units. There's 10 units in Becker. So 2 units, I was writing down after every module all these notes. And I was like, that is such a waste of time. It's taking up so much time. I didn't see what I could gain from it besides just like rereading it. But you may be someone that needs to take notes all the time. That may be how you study. So definitely take the notes. Do what works for you. You may be a flashcard person. Look at the flashcards anytime you're riding public transportation to work or sitting in traffic. When you have that extra time, perfect for flashcards. I couldn't do it. I've never...
What's a flashcard?
Some people don't even listen to the lectures. They just read the book themselves and study themselves. That may work for you, that's fine. But by the time you're taking your last CPA exam, hopefully you figured out what works for you and what doesn't work for you with studying. For me, I took audit 4 times, you guys. 3 of those could have been saved by me figuring out what works for me to study, but you don't know until you know when you fail it. Then you gotta go back to square one and figure out what didn't work. So to sum everything up, I basically took FAR last because I wanted all the experience, all the practice, get all my nerves and tingles out of the way before I go in there because I needed all the extra oomph to get me to pass FAR. So that's why I took it last. That way I shed off all those wasted points of not really knowing what to expect and like fully went in and ready to tackle it with confidence. Also, I was extremely calm and collected during my FAR exam, but that was only because I fully expected to be retaking it anyways, and I wasn't at all pressured. Feeling like I'm gonna waste $300. Those examiners really need to cut down the price on that, because like literally my audit exams, I was freaking out over the fact that I was wasting $300, which made me screw up the exam and fail it and waste $300. Also, I wanted to thank you guys so much for all of your congratulations and comments on my FAR video. It means so much to me. I just now read them for the first time today, a week later. I kind of just spaced out from YouTube. Besides the video, I did upload a video, but I didn't read any comments. So thank you guys so much. You guys are so sweet, and I can't wait to hear about all your success stories. So please keep me informed and keep in touch. I am on Instagram and LinkedIn. A lot of you guys have found me, probably because I put my last name in my FAR video without realizing it. So hello, my name's Heaven Munsey now. I just had to get up and look outside because all this ruckus happening out there. There's an old man staying over here that couldn't open up his door, so he called the hotel staff to come open this door for him. I definitely would have went out there and helped, but that's exactly what I would do to try and get some little lady in there if I was an old man. I'd be like, hey, little lady, can you help me open the door? I can't get inside. And then boom, I'm kidnapped.
Sex slavery.
Anyways, one of you had commented asking if I'm a FAR natural, accounting natural.
Y'all.
My coworkers were dying laughing at that comment, I tell you. No, I am not at all. But I will say with that comment that I don't think FAR is the hardest exam. Now, obviously, it's easy for me to say that because I passed it on the first try and I didn't even finish the material. But no, like, even if I had failed at that time and had retaken it, my score being even above a 65 without getting through the material. Y'all, I studied audit so intensely, literally for like 2.5 months doing nothing but studying, and failed it with a 60. So then I go in there and retake it, and I score a 73. Then I go in there and retake it, and I score a 72. Then I go in there and I'm like, and I finally passed with an 82. So I personally think audit's the hardest because it's so subjective, but that's just the way my brain works. Your brain may work differently. In fact, a lot of y'all's brains work differently because audit's one of the highest passing scores over here, making me feel like an idiot. And FAR being like the lowest, it does have a ton of freaking material. The hardest thing about FAR is just putting in the time to get through the material, and that sucks. And that is a con of taking it last, because you're so ready to be done with the CPA exam and you've been studying forever and ever and ever, and then by the time you start studying FAR, you've got like months ahead of you. Now, a lot of you finish in like a month or 2 months or whatever. It took me 4 months to study FAR, and I didn't even get through the material. So 4 months to get through 70% of it. BC is also very straightforward. Writing portion of that exam was my favorite thing of all the CPA exams. I love to write, and I can BS anything, so like if that could have been on every single exam, that'd be superb. Also, the authoritative literature, the research question on audit. Is there one on BC? No, audit, FAR, and reg. I love those questions because, and do not mess up those questions, you guys. Those are easy points because the answer is in the research. You just have to type in the right keywords and keep looking. Don't waste too much time. Stay focused, find the right reference, and then that is like easy points for you. That's my favorite part. That and the writing are my favorite part of the CPA exams.
Is it okay to even have a favorite part?
I definitely cried every single day of the week. That's not an exaggeration, y'all. I cried 7 days a week while studying for this exam for 18 months. Now that I'm done, my tear ducts are gonna be like, what happened? What did we do wrong? We were out there leaking. Also, I think it's so cliche, but going into the exam with competency. Just being calm and collected and just putting my thoughts out there, it makes you think quicker. I also took my break and went outside and did push-ups. Not outside. I went to the bathroom and did push-ups. And I drank a Powerade real quick, ate a granola bar, get your brain flowing, your blood flowing. And I went in. I think that is key because sitting stagnant all day, as you probably know from work,
your brain ain't always working. But
that wraps up my video. Those are the reasons I decided to take FAR last. Again, substitute FAR with whatever exam you feel like is going to be the hardest for you. And if you're like me, you're going to be like, wow, they're all 4 going to suck and I'm going to struggle with all of these. And I did struggle with all of them, you guys. I literally passed FAR and BC with a 75. I was pushing the limit. The fact that I took audit 4 times, it's the only one I had to retake. Took it 4 times and scored the highest score of all of mine. So thank you guys so much for watching. Comment below any CPA videos you want me to do. I do have a very long list of CPA videos I do plan to get out to you guys that hopefully will help you with your studying process. I can't believe I don't have to study. What am I gonna do with my time? Y'all, it's only 6:15. I don't have to study. Good thing I brought a book to read.
Nerd.
I started this book on Monday and I'm already halfway through. And it's my 2nd book that I have started reading after the CPA exams. I just love to read, but not CPA stuff because that's boring. All right, I'll see y'all next time. Goodbye. It's hot. There's, oh, ooh. how do I, nothing is coming out like I want it to come out during this video. I'm having like writer's block, but like speaker's block, but I talk so fast, my brain can't catch up.
I don't know what I'm trying to say.